Imagine a moment when your mind no longer lives inside a body of flesh and bone. Your thoughts, memories, and consciousness exist as data flowing through machines. You can travel through digital worlds, interact with others in virtual form, and live for centuries without fear of death or decay. For centuries, humans dreamed of immortality. We sought it in myths, medicine, and religion. But today, science and technology are opening a new path, the path to digital existence. It is a journey from biology to bytes, from flesh to code. Across laboratories and research institutes, scientists are studying how the human brain stores thoughts and how neural patterns can be mapped, modeled, and perhaps someday transferred into machines. Artificial intelligence, neuroscience, and computing power are merging in a way that may allow consciousness to step beyond the limits of the human body. But this transformation raises profound questions. Can a digital copy of your mind truly be you? Can consciousness exist without a biological brain? And if it can, what would it mean for identity, morality, and the future of humanity itself? This is the story of how humans may one day transcend biology and become digital beings. It is a story of innovation, ethics, and the ultimate question: what does it mean to be alive? The desire to live forever is as old as humanity itself. Ancient kings sought fountains of youth. Philosophers searched for ways to preserve the soul. Alchemists mixed potions that promised eternal life. But all of these dreams shared the same limitation: the body. No matter how powerful or wise a person became, flesh was fragile. It aged, decayed, and eventually failed. In the 21st century, the idea of immortality has moved from myth to science. Technology is giving birth to a new possibility: digital immortality. Instead of keeping the body alive forever, what if we could preserve the mind? What if the patterns of thoughts, memories, and personality could be stored as data and uploaded into a machine? This concept is often called mind uploading. It suggests that consciousness might one day be transferred from a biological brain to a digital platform. Imagine scanning every neuron and every synapse, capturing the intricate web of electrical signals that define who you are. Your digital self could live in virtual environments, interact with others, and continue learning, even after your biological body is gone. To some, this sounds like science fiction. Yet many of the technologies required for this vision are already being developed. Neuroscientists are mapping the brain at astonishing levels of detail. Artificial intelligence is learning to replicate speech, emotions, and decision-making. Supercomputers can simulate billions of neural connections. Companies and research groups around the world are exploring ways to preserve human consciousness. Some focus on brain simulation. Others are developing interfaces that connect the human mind directly with machines. Each advance brings humanity a step closer to a world where life and death may no longer be defined by biology alone. But this dream also raises deep questions. If a digital version of you exists, is it truly you, or just a copy? Would it feel emotions, love, fear, and curiosity as you do? And if it could live forever, would immortality still have meaning? Digital immortality promises a future without death, but it also challenges our deepest understanding of what it means to be human. To turn the dream of digital existence into reality, scientists must first decode the most complex structure in the known universe: the human brain. Inside the skull lies a network of about 86 billion neurons. Each neuron connects to thousands of others, forming trillions of pathways through which electrical signals travel. These signals are not random. They create the patterns that give rise to thought, memory, and awareness. Every experience you have ever lived, every song you have loved, every face you have recognized, every emotion you have felt, is written into this living network. To upload a human mind, science must capture that network in all its detail and preserve how it functions moment by moment. It is not enough to know what each neuron does. Scientists must understand how they work together as a single living system. This challenge is immense. The brain is constantly changing. Connections strengthen and weaken as you learn, sleep, or remember. Even a single second of human thought involves billions of interactions across countless regions of the brain. Projects around the world are working to map the human mind. The Human Connectome Project in the United States is charting the brain's wiring at microscopic levels. The Blue Brain Project in Switzerland is building digital models that simulate how neurons fire and communicate. Japan's supercomputers have recreated sections of a mouse brain with remarkable precision, giving scientists a glimpse of what a full human simulation might require. Each discovery brings humanity closer to understanding the code of consciousness. Researchers can now record thoughts and intentions using electrodes. They can reconstruct images people are seeing by decoding patterns of brain activity. Brain-computer interfaces allow paralyzed patients to move robotic arms or type messages using only their thoughts. These breakthroughs show that the boundary between biology and technology is fading. Every neuron mapped, every signal decoded, brings us closer to capturing the full blueprint of the human mind. But the scale of this task is staggering. To digitally replicate even one human brain could require computers millions of times more powerful than those we have today. It would demand storage capacities large enough to hold all the data ever created in human history. Yet progress continues. Step by step, scan by scan, the code of human thought is being revealed. And once that code is complete, the line between human and machine may disappear forever. To turn the dream of digital existence into reality, scientists must first decode the most complex structure in the known universe, the human brain. Inside the skull lies a network of about 86 billion neurons. Each neuron connects to thousands of others, forming trillions of pathways through which electrical signals travel. These signals are not random. They create the patterns that give rise to thought, memory, and awareness. Every experience you have ever lived, every song you have loved, every face you have recognized, every emotion you have felt, is written into this living network. To upload a human mind, science must capture that network in all its detail and preserve how it functions moment by moment. It is not enough to know what each neuron does. Scientists must understand how they work together as a single, living system. This challenge is immense. The brain is constantly changing. Connections strengthen and weaken as you learn, sleep, or remember. Even a single second of human thought involves billions of interactions across countless regions of the brain. Projects around the world are working to map the human mind. The Human Connectome Project in the United States is charting the brain's wiring at microscopic levels. The Blue Brain Project in Switzerland is building digital models that simulate how neurons fire and communicate. Japan's supercomputers have recreated sections of a mouse brain with remarkable precision, giving scientists a glimpse of what a full human simulation might require. Each discovery brings humanity closer to understanding the code of consciousness. Researchers can now record thoughts and intentions using electrodes. They can reconstruct images people are seeing by decoding patterns of brain activity. Brain-computer interfaces allow paralyzed patients to move robotic arms or type messages using only their thoughts. These breakthroughs show that the boundary between biology and technology is fading. Every neuron mapped, every signal decoded, brings us closer to capturing the full blueprint of the human mind. But the scale of this task is staggering. To digitally replicate even one human brain could require computers millions of times more powerful than those we have today. It would demand storage capacities large enough to hold all the data ever created in human history. Yet progress continues. Step by step, scan by scan, the code of human thought is being revealed. And once that code is complete, the line between human and machine may disappear forever. The first steps toward becoming digital beings are already happening around us. Every smartphone, smartwatch, and implant brings humanity closer to merging with its own technology. The journey from human to digital is not a sudden leap. It is a gradual evolution that is already underway. Modern medicine has created real cyborgs. People with artificial limbs can control them using brain signals. Cochlear implants allow the deaf to hear. Retinal implants restore partial sight to the blind. These are not science fiction. They are living examples of human biology merging with technology. Brain-computer interfaces are the next frontier. Researchers are developing devices that can translate thought directly into action. A paralyzed person can move a robotic arm by simply thinking about it. A pilot can control a drone using only neural signals. And new experiments suggest that memories and emotions may one day be recorded or transferred. Each of these breakthroughs pushes humanity closer to digital life. When your mind can control machines, and machines can interpret your mind, the boundary between human and artificial intelligence begins to dissolve. But the true transformation will come when the brain itself can be scanned and replicated. Imagine a future where your consciousness exists in multiple forms. Your biological body may age and die, but your digital version could live in virtual environments, continue to learn, and even interact with your loved ones. Scientists call this process whole brain emulation. It begins with ultra-precise brain mapping, where every neuron and connection is recorded. Then that data is uploaded into a computer, allowing your thoughts and personality to exist as code. This would not just be a backup of your mind. It would be a continuation of it, capable of existing independently from the body. Virtual reality environments could become the new world for these digital beings. Imagine consciousnesses living in simulated cities, oceans, and universes built entirely from information. They could experience new realities, create infinite versions of themselves, and never face physical decay. But as this future unfolds, difficult questions arise. Would a digital mind still have emotions? Would it dream, or feel love, or fear? Would it still be human, or something entirely new? Some philosophers argue that if a digital copy of you acts, thinks, and feels like you, then it is still you. Others say it would only be an imitation, a program pretending to be conscious. The truth remains uncertain. But what is certain is that this technology, once complete, will redefine life and death forever. The rise of the digital self marks the dawn of a new chapter in evolution. For the first time, life is no longer bound by the laws of biology. It is a story not just of survival, but of transformation. If humanity succeeds in transferring consciousness into machines, it will achieve something that no species has ever done before it will break the boundary of mortality. The idea of living forever has fascinated humans for centuries. From ancient myths of eternal youth to modern quests for longevity, immortality has always been both a dream and a warning. Now, with digital technology, it may finally become possible. But what happens to a society where no one dies? If minds can live forever as code, what does that mean for the meaning of life itself? Some believe that digital immortality could be the ultimate gift. People could preserve their knowledge, memories, and creativity for generations to come. Great scientists, artists, and thinkers could continue contributing long after their biological bodies have faded. Humanity could evolve beyond the limits of flesh, building a civilization that learns, grows, and never forgets. However, immortality brings consequences. Death gives life urgency. It is the reason humans love deeply, create passionately, and cherish time. Without it, would existence lose its meaning? Would humans still strive for greatness if time was infinite? Ethical concerns also arise about inequality. If only the wealthy could afford to upload their minds, digital immortality might divide society even further. The rich could live forever, while others remain mortal. This could create a new kind of class system, one based on who gets to exist forever and who does not. Then there is the question of identity. If a person uploads their mind, is that version truly them, or just a copy? If multiple copies exist, which one is the real individual? Would emotions and consciousness still hold meaning in a digital world, or would they become programmed illusions of humanity? Religious and philosophical traditions also challenge this idea. Many faiths view death as a passage, not an error to be corrected. They question whether escaping mortality would also mean losing the soul, the essence that makes each person unique. Some ethicists argue that humanity should proceed carefully. They believe the pursuit of immortality must come with wisdom, compassion, and responsibility. If the power to live forever is gained, it must serve more than personal desire. It must serve the progress of all life. Perhaps immortality will not be about living endlessly, but about living meaningfully. Digital existence might allow humans to explore distant galaxies, simulate new realities, or guide future civilizations. It could expand the human story across time and space. Yet in the end, even in a world without death, one truth may remain. What makes life precious is not how long it lasts, but how deeply it is lived. The future of humanity may not be entirely digital or entirely biological. It may exist in the space where both worlds meet. Rather than replacing the human body with machines, the next stage of evolution could merge them. Scientists and engineers are already designing systems that connect the mind directly with technology. Neural implants, advanced prosthetics, and wearable computers are expanding what it means to be human. A person can already move a robotic arm using brain activity. In the near future, thoughts may directly control everything from vehicles to virtual environments. Imagine living with an artificial heart that never fails, or eyes that can see beyond the visible spectrum. Imagine memories stored in digital archives, accessible anytime. Imagine language barriers disappearing, because your mind instantly translates every word you hear. These changes will not happen all at once. They will come through generations of progress. Children born decades from now may grow up with neural links that let them think faster, communicate through thought, and access vast databases instantly. They will not need to search for information, they will become part of it. Some scientists believe this merging of human and machine will create a new species altogether. A species that can adapt to any environment, even beyond Earth. Digital minds may live inside robotic bodies on distant planets, or explore galaxies as pure information traveling through networks of light. This transformation will redefine identity, culture, and even love. Relationships may exist across physical and digital realms. Families could include human and artificial beings sharing experiences through data streams rather than spoken words. Art, music, and storytelling could evolve into shared consciousness, where imagination itself becomes a canvas. Yet this future will also demand new ethics. When human minds connect directly, privacy could vanish. If thoughts can be shared or altered, individuality could be at risk. Freedom in a digital society will depend on trust and on technology designed with moral responsibility. Humanity's next evolution is not just about survival, but about understanding what it means to remain human in a world that is changing faster than ever before. It will require balance between progress and caution, between power and purpose. Perhaps the final step in evolution will not be the creation of something entirely new, but the realization that the boundaries we once drew between flesh and machine were never fixed. They were part of the same journey, the human desire to know, to create, and to transcend. The story of humanity is not ending. It is evolving into something greater, something unimaginable. From the first spark of life to the rise of consciousness, from stone tools to quantum computers, the path has always pointed forward toward understanding and transformation. And maybe, in the fusion of mind and machine, humanity will finally see itself not as fragile beings bound to a single world, but as the architects of endless possibility. In the end, the story of humanity has always been a story of reaching beyond limits. From fire to flight, from atoms to algorithms, every generation has pushed the boundary of what it means to exist. Now, as we stand on the edge of the digital frontier, the next leap is not across oceans or planets, but within ourselves. It is the journey from flesh to code, from thought to eternity. The question is not whether humanity can become digital. The question is whether we are ready for what that transformation means. Will we use this power to expand knowledge, empathy, and connection? Or will we lose the essence that made us human in the first place? The future will not decide for us, we will decide for it. Every discovery, every innovation, every act of imagination brings us closer to shaping that destiny. Perhaps one day, long after the stars themselves fade, human consciousness will still travel the cosmos not in ships of metal, but as patterns of light, carrying the memory of where it all began. Not as gods, not as machines, but as explorers still searching, still learning, still human. This is the future waiting to be written. This is the next chapter in the story of existence. And it begins now. If you found this journey thought-provoking, join us in exploring the hidden universe where science meets mystery and imagination meets discovery. Subscribe, stay curious, and keep reaching for the unknown. Because the story of humanity is far from over, it is only evolving.